Hey, welcome to part 3 of the Flutter for Basics. So in this lecture, we'll be learning about Flutter animation with custom widgets. If you missed my last lecture on this series, I'll put a card here on the right side. That is, I have taught you how to do a navigation drawer in a Flutter application. I've also explained you how the architecture of the Flutter works from create state to init and to dispose. So the entire lifecycle stack, I have explained that. If you missed this video, do check. I'll put the card and click that, or you can check the link in the description. I'll also put that. So let's jump into the tutorial and see how we can create the animation class and with the custom widget and how we can implement that. Okay, so first of all, this was the last thing which I have taught you. It's a NavDrawer class, and here we have a main, which is calling the NavDrawer here. So what we do is we create a class named AnimatedLoader.dart. I'll teach you later part like how we can segregate this into separate structures with clean architecture model. For now, let's follow this pattern, and inside this folder, I'll create a new file called animClass.dart. Let me just rename this because it can't be loader.dart, so it's be like anim folder. Sorry, just need to rename this maybe. Yeah, rename. Or I can just put it like utils. That sounds much better. We have anim class inside our utils. So here what we do is first we have to import again the material.dart. So we write package flutter / material.dart, and here we write a scale animation widget. So here what we're going to do is we're going to make a widget go loading from 0 to 100%. That's like a loader you see in many of the applications when you're installing some games probably, or some e-commerce apps. Many of the trading apps maybe have that loader. So yeah, that one we're going to make. So yeah, scale animation widget, and I'm going to extend it to stateful widget here. And here I'm going to write final widget child and a final duration. Why duration? Because duration class is basically having a span of time, seconds, and even hours, minutes. So if you see here, we have hours, minutes, seconds coming up in the params of the duration class, and in that we can make use of this to time it. So after that, we're gonna write the constructor of this class. So scale animation widget, and inside this, I'm gonna give his superclass as always. And here I'm gonna make the required parameter to be this dot child and this dot duration. I'm gonna initiate with the duration, and with that I'm gonna put a seconds of 1. You can put your type of millis or seconds. I'm following the seconds. You can even use millis. That will be quite much precise, I would say. And yeah, now I'm gonna override this with state of scale animation widget, and it will be a create state method with implies with lambda operation. The class which I'm gonna use is underscore scale animation, so that will return me this class basically. Now I'm gonna write this class. So underscore scale animation widget extends, and here I'm gonna make state of scale animation widget. Yep. And with this I'm gonna put with this was called a single ticker provider state mixin. We use this library to just make the ticks, or the it's like a function which gives a ticker output or a ticker provider with it, and it's like every time this animation is going to run, it's going to get sync with the timings. So that scales the output there. So you have 0 to 100 milliseconds. So 0 to 100 gets 0 ticks to 100 ticks, and then like that. So like every clock duration, it checks for each of the counts. So inside this, I'm going to give a late operator for the animation controller, and the object name is AnimationController. And here I have animation. I put double scale animation, right? And here I'm going to override this with void in state. Yes, I'm going to use the lifecycle in state here for the callback, because in the in state, I'm going to trigger something to make the animation work. And still now in this previous lectures, I haven't showed you the lifecycle, how to trigger it. So yeah, you override those methods here, and inside that, whenever you're writing it, init will be the first function to get triggered before anything gets called in this entire class. So yeah, init state will put the super dot init state, and inside this, I'm going to initialize the controller that I added on the top for the animation. So I'm going to add animation controller, and in it, what I'm going to do is use a vsync. Vsync is basically, as I told you, it's a ticker. It uses with ticker state and single ticker provider state mixin. So this will be used with that, and inside this, we have to put also the duration, because that's a required property. So we have widget dot duration, right? Now, once this is done, you have to enclose this like this. Once it is done, now what I'm going to do is I'll put the scale animation object and use this library called Tween. If you are from a web background, you may be knowing this Tween operator or the Tween library. What it does is basically checks for a tween animation. It can be either a variable or casting a right-hand type of animation library. And Tween animation, what it does, it takes two objects, a begin and an end. So both gets animated. The initial gets animated first, and the later part gets on the end. So the tween, inside the tween, first what I'll do is I'll assign this or typecast to a double, because I'm going to use a double type of operator. And in the inside, what I'm going to put begin to be like 0.5, and the end to be like, I'm going to put like 1. Okay, so after this, put a comma, and inside this we'll put a dot operator for animate. So entire thing will get wrapped up in this wrapper class called animate. And inside this, what we have is we'll use a curve type animation with a parent and a curve. So parent will be your controller, and the curve will be your curves. So what type of curves you want? It can be ease in, ease out. So for this, I'll put elastic out. There are a lot of curves you can get. You can get ease in, ease out, bounce. You can play with it, and you can check out. Each animation has a different type of output. So for this, I'll prefer elastic out. Once that is done, so well, just close the parentheses and the brackets, and after that I will put controller dot forward. So forward will make your controller to run and make the future predictions and get the forward output from the controller and get the animation completed. Once that is done, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to override this with our widget.build, as we did in the last lecture also. Every time you have to use the widget build context like this, and it will return a material. So here we'll be returning the AnimatedBuilder, because we are not going to use the scaffold, or we are not going to use the material, because we are going to just show the animation and nothing gets a user input here. It's just animation, clean animation. So AnimatedBuilder and property animation will be having a scale animation, and the builder will be having the context, comma child, and here inside this what we're gonna have is a return transform dot scale. What this will do is it will transform your XYZ coordinates for the animation, and it will try to scale that down from maybe a 0 to 100% to, to show it in a bar. So I hope you understood. So yeah, it's a couple of times when you're doing in Figma or somewhere, you also show that bar progress, right? So how the interpreter will know that? Yes, from this. So scale it, and the scale property will be having is scale animation dot value, and after that we'll be having the child to get the child from there. And here we'll close this uh, parentheses. We have the child, and after this what I'm gonna do inside this property, I'm gonna put another child because we're gonna use this child from the widgets animated builder, and transform the scale will have the child get the property from there. So here we'll be using the widget.child, and that's our override method build done. And the last we have to dispose it, as because we are using a timer, so we have to override that, and we'll put void dispose, and inside this again we have to put controller dot dispose, and we have to put super dot dispose. All right, so that's our animation widget ready, the anim class. So when we need to call this maybe in the nav drawer or probably in the main, so what you're gonna do is go to our main, and here we're gonna create a custom widget or a custom class, as I told you. So here in the home, what we'll return is a scaffold. So I'll create a homepage class for this homepage, and inside this I'll create a new class called home underscore page dot dart, and inside this I'm gonna call the homepage extends stateless widget, and const will use the homepage super.key constructor, right? And inside this I'll override that with a widget build context, and I'll return the scaffold. Inside scaffold, obviously I have body. Inside body I'll put center, I'll center everything. I'll use the child to use the scale animation widget which we actually made, so it gets imported here, this one. And in the child what we do is we use the container, but before that I'll be also adding the duration because that's a required property, and the duration I'll put as seconds to be 2. And in the child I'll put the container, and a container to be a height of 150. I need a thick bar of 150 and 150, so it's like a square or rectangle type, so the length and the height and the width can be same. I'll put like that. I'm sorry, uh, yeah, 150 150 is fine. After that I'll put a decoration, and I'll put a box decoration, and the box decoration I'll put the property to be like color. I'll put colors dot blue, this one, and I'll use border radius of circular, and I'll put like 20, right? So that's done, and we'll call this from our homepage class like this, and we don't need this. This is the import, it's yellow marked because are not importing this, so you can delete that. Yeah, so this goes to home page. It calls the scale animation widget class and it shows the animation. As clean as that. I'll close the nav drawer because I'm not using now. So let's run this app and see what we get the output for, and we'll check out what is the animation happening here. So I'll run my emulator, and once it's connected, I'll just start the run process without debugging. Yeah. One thing quickly I need to change is I need to put this as animation intro or animation mod uh, tutorial, something like that. Yeah. Okay, our app is built. Let's check out what's the output coming. Mhm. Well, that was unexpected. Okay, let's check it out. Probably this didn't get loaded. This was the last one. Let me hot restart it again. Yeah, there you have it. So we have a elastic widget animation. So if you see, when it pops up, it goes from 0 to 100. So I'll hot restart it again and to show you. See, that is the thing. So yeah, that how we achieved animation and how we do animation in Flutter. So yeah, hope you like this video. If you like this part of animation, if you understood everything, so do give a thumbs up and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. uh in the next part of the series, we'll be learning more about state management, block, riverpod, and getx, and other ones. So yeah, stay tuned for the next series of the part, and till then, take care.